Okay, good afternoon po. Good afternoon, ma'am and classmates. So our topic is about assessing the validity and reliability of diagnostic tests. So to understand how a disease is transmitted and develops and to provide appropriate and effective health care, it is necessary to distinguish between people in the population who have the disease and those who do not. So this is an important challenge both in clinical arena where patient care is the issue and in the public health arena where secondary prevention programs that involve early disease detection and interventions are being considered and where etiologic studies are being conducted to provide a basis for primary prevention. So this chapter addresses the question of how we assess the quality of newly available screening and diagnostic tests to make reasonable decisions about their use and interpretations. So biologic variations in human population. So in using a test to distinguish between individuals with normal and abnormal results, it is important to understand how characteristics are distributed in human populations. So biologic variations in human populations. So understanding biological variations, so when using a test to identify normal versus abnormal results, it's essential to know how characteristics like the blood pressure are distributed within populations. So in setting cutoff points, so for characteristics without a clear normal or abnormal boundary, like again yung blood pressure natin, we set a cutoff level to classify individuals as either hypertensive or normotensive. So ideally, we'd base this cutoff on biologic evidence showing that higher levels linked to greater health risks such as stroke or heart attack. So however, for many traits, we lack precise biological informations. So cutoffs are often based on statistical data instead. So there are types of distribution or curves. So we have bimodal distributions or bimodal curves. So some traits like tuberculin skin test results form a bimodal curve or yung two peaks na sinasabi. So one peak represents people without prior exposure to tuberculosis and the other represents those with exposure. So this type of distribution allows clear distinction between two groups. So example natin, those who have a certain condition and those who don't. So in figure 5.1, it shows the distribution of tuberculin test results in a population. So the size of the induration in diameter of the area of hardest at the site of injection in millimeters is shown in the horizontal axis, and the number of individuals is indicated on the vertical axis. So dito, a large group centers on value of 0 millimeters of induration, 0 millimeters to no induration, at yung another group is centers near 20 millimeter of induration. So this type of distribution in which there are two peaks is called a bimodal curve. So next we have unimodal distribution. So many characteristics such as blood pressure follow a unimodal curve or the single peak. So in a unimodal distribution, it's harder to set a clear cutoffs as there's a gradual variation rather than distinct groups. This creates a gray zone where it's difficult to clearly classify individuals as normal or abnormal. So sa figure 5.2 shows the distribution of systolic blood pressure in a group of men. So in this figure, there is no bimodal curve. So what we see is a unimodal curve, so a single peak. So therefore, if we want to separate those in the group who are hypertensive from those who are not hypertensive, a cut-off level of blood pressure must be set above which people are designated hypertensive and below which are designated normotensive. So objective. So to define the validity and reliability of screening and diagnostic tests, and to compare measures of validity including sensitivity and specificity, and to illustrate the use of multiple tests, which is the sequential and simultaneous test, and to introduce positive and negative predictive value, and to compare measures of reliability including percent agreement and kappa. So let's talk about the validity of the screening test. So validity of a test is defined as its ability to distinguish between who has a disease and who does not. So there are components of validity. So we have the sensitivity and specificity. So sensitivity of the test is defined as the ability of the test to identify correctly those who have the disease. And specificity of the test is determined as the ability of the test to identify correctly those who do not have the disease. So take note, to determine the sensitivity and specificity of a given test, you have to compare it to a gold standard. So mamaya, dadaanan po natin yung gold standard na tinatawag. So sensitivity and specificity. So tests are important tools that can help us identify the presence of or absence of the disease. But tests are not always perfect. So sensitivity and specificity can be used to see how good a test is at correctly identifying the presence or the absence of the disease. So before we proceed, so let's take a closer look on the table here. So tignan muna natin yung table. So let's define or tignan natin yung mga components ng table na ito na siyang gagamitin po natin. So this part, we have the test results. So yung test results, meron, it can only be positive or negative. So next, we have the status of the disease. So this part, ito yung part na kung saan the person has the disease and the person without the disease. And this row naman, so this row entries for determining positive predictive value. And this row is a row for determining negative predictive value. So next, we also have the column entries for determining the sensitivity. So ito siya. And we also have the column entries for determining the specificity. So yan, kakailanganin po natin mamaya kapag mag-identify tayo ng specificity and sensitivity ng test. So now let's talk about the components of the table. So sa components ng ating table, meron tayong true, positive, or the TP. So the true positive are the persons who have the disease and have a positive test result. So ang tawag po natin doon is true positive or the TP. Next, we also have the true negative or yung TN. So these are the persons who do not have the disease and have a negative test result. So next, we also have the false positive or the FP. So these are the persons who do not have the disease but have positive test result. And next, we also have false negative, or the TN, who are the persons who have the disease but tested negative. So, ulit natin, we have true positive, false positive, false negative, and true negative. So, sa column naman na to, again, sabi natin kanina, yung column na yan is the entries for sensitivity. So, dito for sensitivity, to compute the sensitivity means the proportion of those with the disease who test positive. So, ang formula natin is sensitivity is equals to TP, or the true negative, divided by the true positive divided by true positive plus false negative. So, yan yung gagamitin natin kapag magko-compute na tayo ng sensitivity. And next, ito namang column na to is the entry for specificity. So, pag sinabi natin specificity, it is the proportion of those without the disease who test negative. So, ang formula natin is TN, or true negative, divided by true negative plus false positive. So, i-review natin. So, i-review natin yung component. So, sa true negative, meron siyang symbol na positive and positive. Meaning, the person has the disease and tested positive. While sa false positive naman, yung symbol niya is negative and positive. Meaning, the person do not have the disease but tested positive. So, next, we have the true negative. Ang symbol niya is negative and negative, meaning the person do not have the disease and tested negative. So, screening test. And next, we have false negative. So, sa false negative, ang ating symbol is positive and negative, meaning the person has the disease but tested negative. So, ulitin natin, pag sinabi nating sensitivity, this is the proportion of those with the disease who test positive. And kapag specificity naman, the proportion of those without the disease who test negative in the screening. So, punta na tayo sa test of dichotomous results. So, yung results which is positive, it's either positive or negative. So, suppose we have, example na tayo. So, suppose we have a hypothetical population of 1,000 people, of whom 100 have a certain disease and 900 do not. A test is available that can yield either positive or negative results. So, dito, we want to use this test to try to distinguish persons who have the disease from those who do not. So, the result obtained by applying the test to this population of 1,000 people are shown in Table 5.1. So, ito yung ating Table 5.1 shown dito sa ating screen. So, ang tanong. So, di ba sabi natin dito, merong test na available that yields either positive or negative results. Ang tanong, how good was the test? Okay, how good was the test in identifying who had the disease? So, unahin natin yung question na to. How good was the test in identifying those who had the disease? So, meaning, ang sinasabi niya dito or dinedefine niya is the sensitivity. So, tignan natin yung table. So, dito sa table, in table 5.1 indicates that, okay, 100 people with the disease, so 80 were correctly defined as positives by the test. and the positive identification was missed in 20. So thus, the sensitivity of the test which is defined, so yung sensitivity of the test which is defined as the proportion of the diseased people who were correctly identified as positive by the test is, okay, 80%. So yan yung table natin, pero try nating gawin yung table natin kanina. So let's apply para at least kahit pa paano siguro mas maintindihan natin. So yung sa taas, the disease status and the test results, we have positive and negative. So sa table natin, we have the true positive. So ilan yung true positive natin? We have 80, true negative 800, false positive 100, and false negative we have 20. So total of 100 and the total of 900. Sorry, may nag-pop up. Okay. So dito, para makuha natin yung sensitivity, gagamitin natin yung formula kanina na true positive divided by true positive plus false negative. So yung TP natin, we have 80, at saka yung TPFN natin, 80 plus 20. So meron tayong 80 divided by 100. So yung sensitivity natin, kapag dinivide natin ng 80, pag dinivide natin ng 80 divided by 100, ang magiging answer is 0.8 or 80%. Or pwede rin naman nating imano-mano para paano nakuha yung 80%. So multiply lang natin yung 0.8 times 100 is equals to 80%. So next, ang tanong, so how good was the test? So how good was the test in correctly identifying those who did not have the disease? So dito, ang sinasabi naman niya is the specificity. So doon sa sensitivity natin kanina, so ilang percent yun kanina? We have 80% lang yung sensitivity ng ating test. So dito naman, how good was the test in correctly identifying those who did not have the disease? So sinasabi niya, or it pertains to the specificity of the test. So tignan natin yung ulit yung table. So table 5.1, so of the 900 people who did not have the disease, so the test correctly identified 800 as negative. So the specificity of the test, which is defined as the proportion of non-diseased people who are correctly identified as negative by the test, is therefore, ang sabi ilan? Meron daw 89%. So i-table na naman ulit natin. Gamitin natin yung table kanina. So, true positive meron tayong 80, true negative 800, false positive 100, and false negative we have 20. So, dito, tignan natin kung paano nakuha yung specificity. So, gamitin natin yung formula natin na true negatives divided by true negative plus false positive. So, meron tayong 800 divided by 900. So, pag dinivide natin yung dalawang yan, yung specificity would be 0.88 or 89%. So, in-round tayo, ni-round natin yan. Or, pwede nating mano-mano, which is 0.89 times 100 is equals to 89%. So, note that to calculate the sensitivity and specificity of a test, we must know who really has the disease and who does not from a source other than the test we are using. So you have to compare it to a gold standards. So ano bang gold standards? So if you see gold standards, it is an external source of truth regarding the disease status of each individual in the population. So pwede yung ating truth may came from the result of another test that has been used, or that it is the result from a more definitive and more invasive test. So example, we have the cardiac catheterization or tissue biopsy. So next, the importance of addressing false positives and false negatives in screening programs. So, bakit kailangan nating i-address yung false positive and false negative sa screenings? So, false positives, consequences, and implications. Kasi merong mga consequences ito and implications. So, false positives, the impact of false positive on healthcare. So, meron tayong burden on system. Kasi there is an increased demand for further testing and use of resources. Meaning, so all people who screened positive and brought back for more sophisticated and more expensive tests. So next, expense. So cost of follow-up tests often more sophisticated and expensive. So next, meron ding psychological and social impacts ang ating false positive. So it can cause anxiety and stress, and also lasting label dahil sa mga individuals may carry the positive label affecting their identity and treatment by others. So next, false negatives. So consequences and implications ng false negatives natin. So why false negatives are dangerous? Kasi pwedeng mayroong delayed diagnosis and treatment. So missed chance for early treatment and intervention. So example natin dito. So early stage cancer curable if caught in time. So yung false negative natin may prevent the cure. So importance of false negative results maybe depends on the nature and severity of the disease being screened for, and the effectiveness of available intervention measures, and whether the effectiveness is greater if the intervention is administered early in the natural history of the disease. So next, so okay na tayo sa dichotomous test. Next, we have test of continuous variables. So sa test of continuous variables, such as blood pressure or blood glucose level, for which there is no positive or negative results. So far, we have discussed a test with only two possible results. So positive or either positive or negative. But we often test for a continuous variable, such as yan nga, naka-flash, such as blood pressure or blood sugar level, for which there is no positive or negative results. So, dahil dito, we used to set a cut-off level for vital statistics. So, i-consider nating positive kapag yung result fall above the cut-off na nilagay natin. And yung mga positive na yan can be called back for further testing. And then yung negative, results fall below the cut-off and are not called back for further testing. So, let us consider the diagram shown in figure 5 or 3. So, ito lahat yung nasa figure. Pero mag-focus muna tayo sa figure 5.3a. So this is the figure 5.3a. So figure 5.3a shows a population of 20 diabetic and 20 non-diabetic who are being screened for using a blood sugar test whose scale is shown along the vertical from axis from high to low. So the diabetics are represented by the blue circles and the non-diabetics by red circles. Yan. So 20 yan and 20 diabetics and 20 non-diabetics group. So dito makikita natin na there is no level clearly separates the two groups, and there is some overlaps of diabetic and non-diabetic ticks at every blood sugar. So dahil dito, we must select a cut-off point so that those whose results fall above the cut-off can be called positive. So and can be called back for further testing. And those whose results fall below the point are called negative and are not called back for further testing. So suppose, sabi kasi dito, we must select a cut-off point. Okay, let's try to select a cut-off point. Okay, suppose a relative high cut-off level is chosen. O try daw natin na high cut-off level. So, by looking at this figure, so figure B, so makikita natin, so many of the diabetics will not be identified as positive. So, suppose a relative high cut-off level is chosen. So, clearly, many of the diabetics will not be identified as positive. And most of the non-diabetics will be correctly identified as negative. So, makikita natin sa diagram na marami sa mga diabetics will not be identified as positive. So, ilan lang ang na-identify dyan? Gumamit tayo ng high cut-off. So, meron lang 5 na na-identified as positive at 18 naman. 18 naman sa non-diabetics are correctly identified as negative. So, try natin ilagay sa 2x2 table. So, yan yung 2x2 table. So, we have the true positive. So, yung true positive, we have 5. And true negative, we have 18. False positive, we have 2. And false negative, we have 15. So, tignan natin yung sensitivity. Sensitivity muna tayo. Sensitivity of a high cut-off level. So, gamitin ulit natin yung formula natin, which is TP divided by TP plus Fn. So, 5 divided by 20. So, ang answer, merong sensitivity of 0.25 or 25%. So, yan yung sensitivity ng if we choose a high cut-off level. So, next naman, compute natin yung specificity. Tingnan natin yung specificity nga. So, para makuha natin yung specificity, gamitin natin yung formula ulit natin sa Tn divided by Tn plus Fp. So, we have 18 divided by 20. So, ang answer is, yung specificity, we have 0.9 or 90%. So, suppose a relative high cut-off level is chosen, meaning kapag high cut level ang pinili natin, there is a low sensitivity. O tingnan nyo dito dito sa answer or sa result ng sensitivity is 25% lang siya. So, mababa. And pag specificity naman, there is a high specificity. Now, what if naman? So, what if a low cut-off level is chosen? So, paano kapag low cut-off level ang napili natin? So, tignan natin ulit tong table. So, yan yon. So, what if a low cut-off level is chosen? So, sa figure 5.3c, so yan yon. Very few diabetics would be misdiagnosed. So, magiging konti lang yung diabetics na mami-misdiagnose, and a large portion of non-diabetics are now identified as positive by the test. So, try natin ilagay ulit sa 2x2 table. So, sa 2x2 table natin, we have true negative 17. We have true positive 17, true negative 6, false positive, we have 14, and we have false negative 3. So, let's check yung sensitivity kapag low cut-off level, sa low cut-off level. So, again, to get the sensitivity, usarin tayo or gamitin natin yung formula na TP. So, TP is divided by TP plus Fn. So, meron tayong, ba't 5 yan? Sorry, 17 po yan. So, 17 divided by 20, bakit 5? Sorry po. 17 po yan. So, yung sensitivity natin is 0.85 or 85%. So, next, i-compute naman natin yung specificity kapag low cut-off. So, specificity is equals to Tn divided by Tn plus Fp. So, meron tayong 6 divided by 20. So, ang specificity is 0.3 or 30% lang. So, what if a low cut-off level is chosen? So, there is a high sensitivity at meron din namang low specificity. So, kanina, nung high ang pinili natin, low ang kanyang sensitivity, and high kanyang specificity. Dito naman, nung low cut-off ang pinili natin, or trinay natin, it has a high sensitivity, and it also has a low specificity. So, next, in the real world, no vertical line separates diabetics and non-diabetics, and they are in fact mixed together. So, parang ganito siya. So, they are not even distinguishable by red or blue circles. So, meaning, ganito siya, colorless. So, if a high cut-off level is used, so all those with results below the line will be assured they do not have the disease and will not be followed further. Pero kapag naman, if the low cut-off is used, so all those with results above the line will be brought back for further testing. So, sensitivity versus specificity. So, meron tayong tinatawag na trade-off between sensitivity and specificity. Now, if we increase the sensitivity by lowering the cut-off level, we decrease the specificity. And if we increase the specificity by raising the cut-off level, we decrease the sensitivity. So, the dilemma involved in deciding whether to set a high cutoff or a low cutoff rests in the problem of false positives and the false negatives that results from the testing. So, remember, tests with high sensitivity are good for screening tests because the proportion of the false negative is low. And then, tests naman with high specificity are good for confirmatory tests because the proportion of false positive are low. But the perfect test has a 100% of sensitivity and 100% specificity. Now, a closer a test sensitivity and specificity is to 100%, the better the test is in confirming and or excluding the disease. Okay, it is important to remember that in screening, we end up with groups classified only on the basis of the results of their screening test. So either positive or negative. Now we have no information regarding their true disease status. So which of course is the reason for carrying out the screening. So in effect, the result of the screening test yields not 4 groups. So not 4 groups as seen dito sa figure 5.5. So yung 4 groups na sinasabi dyan, we have yung A, B, C, and D. But rather, 2 groups. So yung 2 groups na yan, so one group of the people who tested positive, so yun yung A plus B, all people with positive test, and one group who tested negative. So yun yung C and D, which all the people with negative test. So those who tested positive will be notified of their test result and will be asked to return for additional examinations. And the other group who tested negative will be notified that their test results was negative and will therefore not be asked to return for further testing. So yan yung nasa figure 5.6. So next, so we are through with the test of continuous variables. Next, we have use of multiple tests. So the use of multiple tests, so sequential, we have sequential. So yung sequential natin, so sa sequential natin, two-stage testing, meaning use in sequence one test after the other. So example, if the first test turns out to be positive, it should not be immediately declared as positive. So meaning a second test or confirmatory test should be performed. So treatment will begin if the second test also turns out to be positive. So doon sa first test of sequential testing natin, so it is less expensive, less invasive, and less uncomfortable. And yung second test of sequential testing naman natin, it is more expensive, more invasive, and uncomfortable. And it has a greater sensitivity and specificity. So take note, those who screen positive are recalled for further testing. So may example na tayo. Now consider the hypothetical example in figure 5.7a. So in which a population is screened for diabetes using a test with sensitivity of 70% and specificity of 80%. Now the disease prevalence in this population is given as 5%. O meron pa ng ganyan. Prevalence is 5% in a population of 10%. So yung figure 5.7 natin, it's a hypothetical example of two-stage screening program. So how are the data shown in this table obtained? O paano kaya nakuha yung mga data na nandyan sa table? Panunod tayo, hindi utot. Okay, so una, para sa akin kasi mas madali kapag yung given values is na-identify muna. Para sa akin. So, let's identify the given values sa problem. So, we have the disease prevalence, we have 5%, population, 10,000, sensitivity, 70%, and specificity, we have 80%. So, question again, how are the data shown in this table obtained? So, paano daw natin nakuha yung mga data na nandyan? So, let's start. Unahin natin yung 500. So, paano ba natin nakuha yung 500? So, dito, kakailanganin natin yung disease prevalence and population na 10,000. Pag kasi sinabi natin disease prevalence, meaning, eto yung percent doon sa population nyo kung saan those person who have the disease. So, sa disease prevalence natin, 5% of the total population has the disease. So, pag kinuha natin yan, ang gawin lang natin, 5% of 10,000 is 500. So, ganun kung paano natin nakuha yung 500. It is the 5% of the total population who has the disease. Or pwede rin natin kunin 10,000 times 0.05. So, ang answer niyan is 500. So, the total person who have the disease is 500. So, next, paano kaya naman natin nakuha yung 350? So, dito, kakailanganin natin yung sensitivity na 70% at saka yung total of person who have the disease. Or it's equivalent to 500. So, paano natin yan kinuha? With a sensitivity of 70%, the test will correctly identify 350 of 500 people who have the disease. Meaning, 70% of 500 is equals to 350. Or pwede natin gawin na 500 multiplied 2.70. So, ang lalabas dyan, kapag kinalculator nyo is 350. So, that's how we obtain the true positive or in 350. So, next naman, paano natin na-obtain yung 150? So, simple lang, subtract natin yung 350 from 500. So, 500 minus 350 is equals to 150. So, next, sa specificity naman tayo. So, bago tayo ulit mag-compute or bago natin alamin kung paano natin na-obtain yung mga values or data na nandyan sa part ng specificity or dun sa part doon. So, i-identify muna natin ulit yung mga given values. So, given values. So, disease prevalence, we have again 5%, population 10,000, sensitivity 70,000, specificity 70%, specificity 80%, and the total of person who have the disease is 500. So, tanong ulit, how are the data shown in this table obtained? So, we are talking about na yung specificity. So, unahin natin yung 9,500. So, paano natin na-obtain yan? So, dito kailangan natin yung population and yung total of person who have the disease. So, subtract lang natin yung 500 from 10,000. Kasi nga kanina, yung computation natin kanina, yung 500 nakuha natin doon sa disease prevalence na 5% sa 10,000 population who have the disease. So, dito naman, syempre, yung natitira na lang, so sila yung mga tao na who do not have the disease. That's why, subtract lang natin yung 500 from 10,000. So, 10,000 minus 500 is 9,500. So next, we have 7,600. So dito, with a specificity of 80%, the test will correctly identify as non-diabetic. So 7,600 of the 95 people who are free from diabetes. So paano niya nakuha yan? So 80% of 9,500 is 7,600. Or pwede nating i-compute 9,500 times 0.80. So ang lalabas pag kinalculate nyo is, calculator nyo is 7,600. So that's how we obtain or we get the 7,600, which is the true negative. Next, paano naman natin nakuha yung 1,900? So let's subtract 7,600 from 9,500. So 9,500 and 7,600, we have 1,900. Okay, next. Okay, let's review. So yung first natin na test, we have yung blood sugar test. So dito, there is a total of 2,250 people will test positive and will be brought back for the second test. Kasi nga sabi natin kanina, kung sino lang yung positive sa test, sila lang yung qualified na bumalik for another test or screening. So sa problem natin kanina, so merong total of 2,250. So 350 plus 1,900 equals 2,250. So meaning sila yung qualified for the next screening test. So dito, yung first test natin, we have blood sugars. Now, dahil may mga positive, kailangan ulit ng next screening test. So, ang next screening test na natin na related sa sugar, we have the glucose tolerance test. So, dito, yung figure 5.7b natin, again, shows test 1 together with test 2. So, which deals only with the 2,250 people who tested positive in the first screening test. So, bago tayo magpatuloy, ano muna natin, let's identify yung mga given values. So, ito na, sa glucose tolerance test na po tayo. So, meron tayong number of people who have the disease, so 350, and the number of who does not have the disease, 19, so sorry, paki-check na lang po yon. Who does not have the disease? We have 1,900. And sensitivity of 90 90% specificity of 90%. So total of person who has a test of positive result of 2,250. So unahin natin kung paano niya nakuha yung true positive or yung 315. So dito, since 350 people doon sa ating 2,250 have the disease, and yung test sensitivity natin is 90%. So, merong 315 of those 350 will be correctly identified as positive. So, paano niya nakuha yung 315 na positive natin? So, 90% of 350 natin is 315. Or kapag kinompute naman natin, dahil 90% yung sensitivity niya, magiging 0.90 siya, 350 multiply to 0.90, so ang answer niya is magiging 315. So next naman, paano natin na-obtain yung 1,710 dyan. So, because 19, so yung 1,900 doon sa 2,250 natin do not have diabetes and the test specificity is 90%. So, meron tayong 1,710 doon sa 1,900 that will be correctly identified as negative. So, paano nakuha yung 710, sorry. So, 90% of 1,900 is equals to 1,710. Or kung imano-mano ulit natin sa calculator, so 90% is equivalent to 0.90. So, 1,900 times 0.90, ang lalabas po ay 1,710. So, next, paano naman nakuha yung 335 dyan? So, simple lang, susubtract lang natin yung 350 minus 315. So, we have 35. And yung 190 naman dyan, isusubtract lang natin yung 1,900 sa 1,710. So, ang answer is 190 lang po. 190. So, that's how we obtained yung mga values and data po dyan sa ating table. So, sana po naintindihan. Now, we are now able to calculate the net sensitivity and the net specificity using both tests in sequence. Whew. Sorry. Okay, net sensitivity and net specificity. So, yan ulit yung diagram natin, yung test 1 and test 2. So, net sensitivity, so dun sa 315 people of the total 500 people with diabetes, in this population of 10,000 will have been correctly called positive. So, para makuha natin yung sensitivity, so 315 divided by 500, kasi nga yung true positive natin, ilan dyan? 315 of the total 500 people with diabetes in population of 10,000. So, 315 divided by 500, ang net sensitivity niya is 63%. So, meaning, pag titignan natin, there is a loss in net sensitivity by using both tests. So, 63% na lang yung kanyang net sensitivity. So, next, net specificity. So, to calculate net specificity, note that yung 7,600 people of the 9,500 in this population who do not have diabetes were correctly called negative in the first stage of screening. And then, sila na yung hindi na test pa or were not tested further. So, meaning there's an additional 1,710 of those 9,509 diabetics were correctly called negative in the second stage of screening. So, dito, pag ito total natin, kailangan nating i-add yung 7,600 doon sa first test plus yung 1,710 doon sa ating second test. So, 7,600 plus 1,710 is equals to 9,310. So, i-divide natin po yan sa 9,500. So, ang kanyang net specificity is 98%. So, meaning, the use of both tests in sequence has resulted in gain in net specificity. simultaneous testing. So, tapos na tayo sa sequential. Dito naman tayo sa simultaneous testing. So, sa simultaneous testing natin, so meron tayong net sensitivity using 2 simultaneous tests, and we also have net specificity using 2 simultaneous tests. So, example na, simultaneous testing. So, let us now turn the use of simultaneous test. So, let us assume that in a population of 1,000 people, the prevalence of the disease is 20%. So, therefore, 200 people have the disease, but we do not know who they are. So, in order to identify the 200 people who have the disease, we screen this population of 1,000 using 2 tests for this disease. So we have test A and test B at the same time. So take note, at the same time. So let us assume that the sensitivity and specificity of the 2 tests are as follows. So yung test A natin, we have sensitivity of 80%. Sa specificity naman ng test A, we have 60%. So, sa test B natin, sensitivity 90%, and specificity, we have 90%. So, i-identify natin yung given values. So, yung population natin, we have 1,000. Prevalence of the disease, 20%, na ulawon. So, total of and meron tayong total of people who have the disease. So, 200. So, saan natin nakuha yung 200? 200 na yan is from the 20% of 1,000 population. So, sa test A natin, we have sensitivity of 80%, specificity of 60%. So, sa test B natin, we have sensitivity of 90% and specificity of 90%. So, net sensitivity using 2 simultaneous tests. So, question, what is the net sensitivity using test A and test B simultaneously? So, dito, a person must be identified as positive by test A, test B, or both test B to be considered positive, and therefore include in the numerator for net sensitivity for 2 tests used simultaneously. So, to calculate net sensitivity, let us first consider the result of screening with test A and consider next the result of screening with test B. Meaning, unahin muna natin yung i-consider yung result sa screening test A, and then isusunod po natin yung screening with test B. So, unahin daw natin ang test A. So, test A, to calculate net sensitivity, let us first consider the result of screening with test A, whose sensitivity is 80%. So, of the 200 people who have the disease, so 160 test positive. So, paano nakuha ulit yung 160? Yun yung 80% ng 200 people who have the disease. So, saan natin nakuha yung 80%? Kasi sabi natin kanina, dun sa given, yung sensitivity ng test A is 80%. Kaya, yun. 80% of 200 who have the disease, so ang answer is 160. So, meron tayong 160 test positive sa test A. So, i-define natin o i-illustrate po natin through this oval. So, this oval represents the 200 people who have the disease. now of the 200 people who have the disease. So next, dahil nag-compute tayo, nakuha natin yung 160 that test positive sa test A. So of the 200 people who have the disease, 160 test positive by test A. So the pink circle within the oval represents the 160 who test positive with test A. So these 160 are the true positive using test A. So next, we have test B. So tapos na tayo sa test A. Meron tayong na-identify na 160 na true positive. So sa test B naman tayo. Consider next the result of screening with test B whose sensitive is 90%. O sa given natin kanina, sabi natin ang sensitivity ng test B natin is 90%. Now, of the 200 people who have the disease, 180 test positive by test B. So, paano na naman natin nakuha yung 180 dyan? So, yung sabi natin ulit kanina sa given natin, 80% ang sensitivity ng test B. So, meaning, 90, sorry. So, 90% of 200 is 180. Or pwede natin imano-mano. So, 200 times 0.90, meron tayong 180. So, i-straight naman natin using yung oval. So, of the 200 people who have the disease, 180 test positive by test B. So, the oval again represents the 200 people who have the disease. So, yung circle lang dyan. And the blue circle within the oval represents the 180 who test positive with test B. So, these 180 are the true positive using test B. So, can we now calculate the numerator of the net sensitivity? So, hindi pa. So, in order to calculate the numerator for net sensitivity, so we cannot just add the number of person who tested positive in test A doon sa taong tested positive using the test B. Bakit? Dahil some people tested positive on both tests. So, these people are shown in lavender by overlapping area of the two circles and we don't want to count them twice. Siyempre, ayaw nating maulit kasi hindi na magiging reliable yung validity or yung sensitivity or specificity ng ating screening. So, of the 200 people who have the disease, so 160 sa test A, ang na-screen nating positive, and 180 naman ang na-screen nating na-test nating positive sa test B. So, dito, hindi pa natin mako-compute yung numerator ng net sensitivity natin kasi sabi nga kanina, some of these people have tested positive doon sa dalawang screening. So, how do we determine how many people tested positive on both tests? O paano daw natin ito madi-determine? So, sa test A, so tignan natin yung test A. So, sa test A, meron tayong sensitivity na 80%. So, dahil dyan, meron siyang na-identify na 160 people. So, test A has a sensitivity of 80% and thus identified as positive 80% of the 20 who have the disease is 160, meaning yung 80% ng 200 is 160 people. So, meaning merong 160 people na positive sa test A. Now, Punta tayo sa test B. So, test B has a sensitivity, sabi natin kanina na 90%. So, therefore, it identifies as positive 90% of the same 160. So, dito, 90% ng 160 na nakuha natin sa test A. Bakit? Kasi nga sabi natin kanina, yung positive doon sa first test natin will be back for further screening. So, dito sa test B natin, para ma-determine natin kung ilan yung nag-positive doon sa both test natin. So, sa test B natin, 90% of the same 160 people who are identified by test A, meron tayong 144 people. So, meaning, 144, so meaning, kapag when the test A and test B are used simultaneously, so meron tayong 144 identified as positive by both tests. So, napakikita natin yan sa illustration sa oval. So, 144 tests positive by both test A and test B. So, next. So, let's recall the test. Pwede ba lang i-zoom? So, let's recall the test correct. Recall the test A Recall that test A correctly identified 160 people with the disease as positive. So, because 144 of them were identified by both tests, so ang gagawin natin, para ma-identify natin kung ilan lang yung na-test na positive doon sa screen test A, so ima-minus lang natin yung 144 doon sa 160. So, meaning, meron 16 people were correctly identified only by test A. So, sa test B naman, so para ma-identify natin kung ilan lang sa test B ang na-identify na positive. So, test B correctly identified 180 of the 200 people with the disease as positive. Now, dahil 44 doon ay na-identify were identified by both tests, ang gagawin naman natin, susubtract natin yung 144 doon sa 180. So, meron tayong 36 people lang that were correctly identified by test B. So, yan yung nakikita natin dito sa illustration. So, 16 lang yung test positive only by test A and 36 test positive only by test B. So, yung sa mix nila, dun sa both test A and test B, merong 144 test positive by both test A and test B. So, now, pwede tayong mag-compute ng net sensitivity using test A and test B simultaneously. So, dito, sa illustration, pinapakita niya na yung net sensitivity using both tests simultaneously is equals to, so we have 16 plus 14 plus 36 divided by 200. Kasi nga sabi natin, proportion siya ng total of person who have the disease. So, para makuha natin yung net sensitivity, i-add po natin lahat yung mga nakuhang positive doon sa test A and test B. So, we have 16 plus 144 plus 36. So, we have 196 divided by 200. So, meron tayong net sensitivity na 98%. So, meaning mataas ang kanyang net sensitivity kapag ginamit natin yung simultaneous testing. So, next naman, net specific using two simultaneous tests. So, kanina, net sensitivity, ngayon naman, net specificity. So, we have, again, yung given natin, let's recall dito, population natin 1,000, prevalence 20%. So, yung total who have the disease, 200. So, dahil specificity na tayo, so, kinuha ko na lang is yung specificity. So, sa test A, we have 60. Sa test B, we have 90%. So, what is the net specificity using test A and test B simultaneously? So, to be included in the numerator of net specificity for two tests used simultaneously, a person must be identified as negative by both tests. So, to be called negative in simultaneous tests, only people who test negative on both tests are considered to have had a negative result. Now, to calculate net specificity, ganun ulit, i-consider muna natin yung first result of screening with test A and then sunod natin ang test B. So, how do we do this? Let's do this. So, in order to calculate the number of in order to calculate the numerator for net specificity, we therefore need to determine how many people had negative results or both tests. Now, uunahin natin ang test A. So, sa test A, sabi natin kanina, merong 60% specificity. And thus, correctly identifies yung 60% of 800 who do not have the disease. So, meaning merong 480 people who do not have the disease. So, dito tingnan natin yung illustration niya sa oval. So, this oval represents 800 people who do not have the disease. And of the 800 people who do not have the disease, So, in figure 5.9b represents 480 people who test negative with test A. So, these are the true negatives using test A. So, sa test A natin, meron tayong 400 people which is true negative. So, next, sa test B naman tayo. Test B has a specificity of 90% and thus identified as negative 90% of the 800 people who do not have the disease. So, meaning meron tayong 720 people. So, yung 90% daw ng 800 people who do not have the disease, ang answer or equivalent na yon is equals to 720 people. So, siya yun. Ito yun. Now, next, tingnan natin yung illustration dito sa kabila. So, the oval again represents the 200 people who have the disease. Parang iba. Iba nga. Sorry. Mali po ito. So, hindi po yan yung interpretation. So, hindi ko lang siguro na-i-edit. So, dito, sinasabi niya na etong yellow na to, it is, ito yung 720 tests negative by the test B. So, next, so to be called negative in the simultaneous test, only people who test negative on both tests are considered to have had negative results. So, dito sa ating figure, sa letter D, so of the 800 people who do not have the disease, so 480 test negative by test A. So, meron tayong 720 tests negative by test B. So, but only people who tested negative on both tests are considered negative. So, dito, kailangan nating ma-identify kung ilan yung people who tested negative sa test A and test B. So, ito yun, yung nakaturo. So, test B also identifies as negative. So, 90% of the same 480 people identified as negative by the test. So, paano natin nakuha yung 432? So, it is the 90% of 480. So, answer is 432. So, meaning, there are 482 tests negative by both test A and test B. So, now, let's compute na natin yung net specificity using both tests simultaneously. So, dito, yung ating numerator, we have 432 divided by 800. So, ang kanyang net specificity is, we have 54%. So, comparison of simultaneous and sequential testing. So, simultaneous testing, so multiple tests are conducted at the same time. So, an individual is considered positive if any test results is positive and negative only if all tests are negative. So, effect on sensitivity and specificity increases sensitivity more true positive but reduces specificity. So, ang pros niya, high sensitivity captures more true cases useful in screening or high-stakes scenarios. So, ang cons naman, higher risk of false positives which can lead to unnecessary follow-up testing and increased cost. So, sa sequential testing naman, involves a two-step approach where only those who test positive on the first step proceed to a second confirmatory test. So, effect on sensitivity and specificity, lowers sensitivity but improves specificity. So, yung pros niya, reduces false positive, making it effective for diagnostic confirmation. And ang cons may miss some true cases and delay diagnosis. So, choosing between methods, the choices depends on the goals. So, screening versus the diagnosis, resources, cost, and test invasiveness. Okay, thank you po.